My name is Linda Tate. I'm 31 years old from the United States and I'm a university lecturer.
I'm Iraqis. I'm from Brežice. I'm 33 years old and I'm a lawyer by profession and researcher.
Alors, je m'appelle Aurélia Fischer, je suis suisse, étudiante en management, communication et psychologie. J'ai 25 ans et je travaille aussi en tant que responsable relations publiques.
I'm Blaž Rodic. I live in Brežice. I lived there since last year. Before that I lived in Novo Mesto, which is what half an hour due west. And I work as a university professor.
My name is Rike. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Germany. I live and study in Berlin and I'm studying international aid and disaster relief.
Hello, Malika. My name is Malika. I'm 24 years old. I also live and study in Berlin and yeah.
My name is Basem. I'm 20 years old. I was born in Italy, but my parents are both from Syria. Emigrated 40 years ago, and that's pretty much all.
I am Vesna. I'm coming from Brežice, this little town near the border, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm a professor of history and sociology, but I'm working like a tourist guide.
I'm Peter Dierenbeck. I'm 40 years old. I'm a native guy from Brežice in Slovenia. About my profession, at the moment, I would say I'm a singer-songwriter and a karate guy with unfinished law school.
My name is Renata. I'm from Lithuania. I'm 40 years and I'm a nurse.
I am Mariad. I am from Syria. I'm Syrian refugee. I fled Syria from 1 year. Since then, I'm living in Germany, in Berlin.
My name is Charlie Wood, and I'm from the United States. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm 31 years old.
I'm from Brežice. My name is Alyosha. I'm 46 years old, and I'm a physicist by profession.
I was planning a trip to the Balkans with my girlfriend, and given that, we knew that there was a help needed here, so we organized an event in my city. We collected as much as blankets as we could and filled up our van. The first idea was to go to Serbia, to the border between Macedonia and Serbia. And arriving here, we saw that there was an emergency need, so we stopped here, and basically I'm still here since then.
How did I come here? Okay, the story is a little bit complicated, but I was changing my job. I been working at a company for the last couple of years, and I took a 6-month break in between leaving my last job and starting my next job. I'll start my next job at a law firm in the U.S. in March, and 6 weeks ago, about 5.5, 6 weeks ago, I was in Romania, in Bucharest, at a Balkan music festival, and I've been following the situation here with the refugees coming through Europe. I've done some pro bono work and around the U.S. and in the southern states in the U.S. around migrants coming from Central and South America to the U.S. and also in the Middle East, issues around Israel and Palestine and free movement of people. And as I was following the situation here, and the new law was coming into effect in Hungary, criminalizing migrants. The fence was being built, and the Rachka was active with people and volunteers, and I just decided to take a train to Budapest, from Bucharest, and this has now been some breaks in between, but for the last 6 weeks, volunteering throughout Serbia, Croatia, Hungary, and now Slovenia.
Alors, je suis arrivée d'abord à Budapest il y a 15 jours, en octobre. Initialement, donc, c'était avec une étudiante dans la même université que moi, qui s'appelle Léa. Et on a beaucoup parlé de cette problématique. Moi, c'est quelque chose qui me tenait beaucoup à cœur. On en a tous entendu parler via les médias, en je pense on savait certaines choses, mais après mon expérience ici, je pense qu'on n'était absolument pas au courant de ce qui se passe. Puis un jour, elle m'a dit, moi je vais partir en Hongrie, j'ai envie d'aller sur place pour aider. Et ça s'est décidé en fait en l'espace de quelques minutes où on a dit eh ben go, elle m'a proposé d'aller avec elle. À partir de là, on a commencé à chercher sur les réseaux sociaux. En une semaine, on a essayé de récolter des fonds, des habits. On a essayé de contacter toutes les personnes dans notre entourage pour leur parler du voyage. On a eu un petit article dans un journal en Suisse, ce qui nous a permis d'avoir quand même l'attention de certaines personnes. On a reçu pas mal de fonds. On a aussi organisé une petite soirée avant de partir dans un collectif à Neuchâtel. Et puis finalement, on est partis donc tous les trois. On a loué une voiture. On est partis le lendemain. Et étant donné qu'il y avait encore personne vraiment qui était en Slovénie ou qui savait où les gens entreraient via la frontière slovène, on a plutôt fait du repérage dans les premiers temps. Donc la première nuit, on a vraiment essayé de partir avec la voiture, de chercher où étaient les gens. On est allé dans un premier camp. Et ce soir-là, j'ai rencontré des gens de Ljubljana. Et le lendemain, c'est via en fait, l'information que ces personnes-là m'ont donnée qu'on est parti vérifier en fait, chaque localisation où il y avait une possibilité d'avoir un camp pour voir s'il y avait vraiment des réfugiés qui seraient sur place. Et c'est comme ça qu'on a atterri finalement ici à Brežice. Voilà.
Yeah, actually, I'm living with German students. I got to know a couple of German friends, and they had this idea to come here, helping people, and I was like, I want to help this because I was one of them before 1 year, you know. So we just decided in 1 week, and now we are here doing something, just trying to do something useful.
I volunteered a bit at home at homeless shelters and stuff when I was younger. I've done some volunteer work in Guatemala with students that live around the garbage dump that are gathering trash for their families. I've done some volunteer work in Cambodia, where my parents are from, and I actually have an English program in Jordan teaching Syrian refugees. So this is also not my first time working with Syrian refugees.
No, I've volunteered in different capacities since I was a little kid. My parents, when I was 5 years old, taking me to our synagogue. I was raised Jewish, and we would serve food to people in emergency shelter. And I mean, ever since then, I worked in microfinance in Central Asia. I volunteered in the Middle East. Volunteered in different parts of the U.S. I've been on the board of Human Rights Watch. I've worked with Amnesty. So a lot of different things.
Yeah, actually, it's the first experience because before, when I was living in Syria, we were the people that we needed help, you know, somehow. But actually, we were just doing some small stuff in Syria for the poor people, just like who doesn't have something to eat, or just some small stuff, not like this. It's crazy, not like what's going on here.
So last year we were only involved with collecting goods and putting them on trucks and sending them across the border. This year was my first experience with direct face-to-face help with people who suffered.
Yes, in such a way, yes. Maybe I volunteered sometimes in some other projects, but never until now with the refugees.
My first impression. So we saw all the pics on the media, and we were like, okay, that's a really, really bad situation here, and no one helps. But when we arrived here, we met a lot of Slovenian refugees helpers, and so it's actually better than we had expected it to be.
Actually, kind of surprised because I didn't know to what extent the people were coming through, or you hear numbers a lot in the media, like 3,000 people are coming, 5,000 people are coming. You don't really realize what that looks like until you see it. And you don't realize the kind of logistical problems that occur when 5,000 people are in one camp without shelter and it's cold and they don't have blankets and they don't have food. So it was a little bit overwhelming because even if I had done volunteer work before, or even if I had worked with refugees before, this is a completely new situation, not just for me, but for other volunteers, and I think also for the people employed here, the police, the army. For everyone, it was a new experience. So I would say overwhelming definitely at first, but with every baby step that we made, with every little bit of progress that we made, it became a lot more hopeful, and it was also great to see how much improvement could be made in a short amount of time if people just worked together.
Je me souviens parce que j'étais devant 2000 personnes et il y avait des policiers, et quand ces personnes m'ont vu, elles ont vu qu'on avait un petit peu à manger, mais on n'avait pas du tout assez pour nourrir 2000 personnes parce qu'on ne savait pas vers quoi on allait. Je me suis retrouvée seule face à ces 2000 personnes et elles se sont toutes ruées sur moi pour avoir un bout de pain. Et la police s'est avancée en ligne contre eux. Et je me suis mis entre la police et les gens et j'aurais demandé est-ce que quelqu'un parle anglais, calmez la foule, on va revenir, il y a 3 personnes, 3 des autres volontaires, on a des fonds, on va aller vous chercher à manger, de l'eau, tout le monde va recevoir à manger de l'eau. Et cette nuit-là, elle était spéciale sur le plan humain, au niveau de la première expérience vis-à-vis de toute cette situation, parce que j'ai vu des gens absolument incroyables. J'ai réussi à, seule avec cette foule, ils ont organisé une ligne. C'est pas moi qui ai fait le travail, c'est vraiment les réfugiés qui ont parlé. Quelqu'un s'est levé, a expliqué aux gens de se calmer. On a organisé une ligne avec les femmes et les enfants. Et je me souviens, je tremblais parce que j'avais juste un petit sac rempli de chaussettes pour bébé avec quelques chocolats. C'était des boîtes, c'était absolument ridicule parce que c'était des boîtes de truffes ou de merci que j'avais acheté pour offrir initialement aux volontaires. Et je me suis retrouvée avec un policier qui me voyait tellement trembler il a enlevé ses gants, il m'ouvrait les petites boîtes de pralinés et j'offrais juste un praliné aux femmes. J'étais complètement désemparée par rapport à ça, mais c'était, en tout cas cette nuit-là, c'était je pense une nuit où on a pu bien travailler.
It's disaster actually. It's really devastating. I feel really sorry when I give people a bottle of water or just a piece of bread, and they will be sorry, and they will be really happy, and it's only a bottle of water, and a piece of bread, and I feel really sorry, I did nothing, I'm really doing nothing, and they will be really happy, and all these people, they just had homes and money, and they are not in need for a bottle of water to be happy, they need just a life. So it's really unbelievable somehow, the feelings, it's hard to understand actually.
My first impression was that our government was really unprepared for the situation, so everything was very chaotic, and I think our presence at the state was really needed, and without volunteers there it would be quite dramatic, or even more than it was already.
I was in some kind of shock, meaning shock was that I met so many people in such a poor condition. I didn't expect to be like that, but during the time you get used to it.
It was a cocktail, a mixture of different emotions, which I couldn't imagine before. Well, I felt sadness, I felt anger, I felt disappointment, all these things. I was very excited, also afraid that I will not be able to react on the proper way. I was not afraid of the people, this for sure not. Anyway, we somehow managed to give our first aid to these people who were disorientated, hungry, and deprived of basic human rights, stuck on the border. And this is what we did. We tried to give them information, basic food, shelter, clothes, and this is it. But emotions, maybe there's maybe I need even more time to make my how to say the order in my head to make some conclusions, because all these things is still happening to us. We are in the middle of the crisis, and there's no time to to judge, to evaluate what we are going through at the moment. This is it about emotions.
My first impression in August, I wasn't introduced to it in person because we were packing for refugees in Greece. But when the flow started coming in September, it was chaos. It was, I think it was more humane because we could talk to people, help people, have some personal contact. And now you can just pack the bag and give them to people. So now it's more like factory working.
When I came, when I see all these people, I feel sad. I feel shock. How was outside, make warm in the fire. But I was happy that I'm there because I know I can help, and volunteering, it's a good job.
It changes in the different places. Here in Slovenia, I've stepped up into more of like an informational and coordination role, just trying to disseminate information to independent volunteers who are coming with either things, supplies, money, time to help, etc. So a group of us have kind of organically come together to try and coordinate that and make the situation, make it easier for authorities to be able to work with individual volunteers, and also for individual volunteers to get access and to be able to provide the most help that they can. But that's changed. Like in other situations, I've been doing 30-hour shifts in Preševo or in Dimitrovgrad or in Horgoš, just carrying babies or feeding people or putting clothes on people, whatever, so.
It was various. In the beginning, I was driving a van and driving from store to store, buying all the toast and all the bread that was available in the shops, and taking it to the refugee camp and distributing food to refugees, distributing clothes to refugees, cleaning the site after they left, I don't know, things like that.
Everything. I mean, really everything. So I have to prepare a lunch packet for them. I put them new clothes, warm clothes. I clean the train station. Everything, you name it.
At the moment, I'm working on the railway station in Dobova. This is the main way for the refugees at the moment, because our first wave, what we experienced, went through the highway, which was called in our times before Cesta bratstva i nenotnosti. It means this was the road of the brotherhood and unity, which is some kind of ironic name for the times that we are living. These times are quite opposite of the name of this road that used to connect all ex-Yugoslavian countries in one piece. And now the new fences are appearing on this border between these two nations. And this, not just two nations, many nations that consisted Yugoslavia.
I guess in my case it's quite easy to be involved, being that I have Syrian parents. So it's easy to be called, to feel the call to help. Why? Otherwise, I have to say there is many international people here, and it's very nice to see that there are people which they are not directly connected as I am, and they're like giving their help almost 24 hours per day or 24 hours per day, and just for the sake of help, just for the sake of being human.
C'est une question que beaucoup de personnes ont posée et qui est très difficile à répondre parce que je pense que ça change. Initialement, c'était un besoin humain, c'est toujours un besoin humain d'être ici parce qu'un jour, ça sera, nos enfants ils vont apprendre ça dans leur livre d'histoire. Et à la base, quand je suis partie là, je me suis dit, mais si un jour j'ai des enfants et qu'ils me demandent mais qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, qu'est-ce que tu faisais, comme nous, on a pu poser la question à nos grands-parents, peut-être pour d'autres grandes périodes historiques. Et j'avais envie de participer, d'être là. Et du moment où j'ai été dans ces camps, où j'ai porté des enfants qui étaient sur le point de mourir, où j'ai parlé à des gens fantastiques, absolument admirables, que ce soit au niveau des volontaires, que ce soit au niveau de ces réfugiés qui ont le cœur rempli d'espoir et de gentillesse, c'est plus un objectif ou un besoin, c'est une nécessité. C'est qu'on ne peut pas rester indifférent à ce qui se passe, surtout aujourd'hui, dans un contexte où on est au XXIe siècle, on a déjà eu tellement d'atrocités qui se sont passées, on a essayé d'apprendre de ces choses. Et quand on voit ce qui se passe, je pense qu'on ne peut plus juste se désinhiber et rester dans l'arrière-plan de cette situation. On doit tous agir, que ce soit par la parole, que ce soit comme vous, d'avoir un témoignage de ces volontaires qui sont là, que ce soit d'être sur le terrain ou que ce soit d'en parler autour de soi. C'est toute une chaîne d'action qui est absolument nécessaire aujourd'hui.
Because it's something, we are all human beings, so it's humanity to help people, you know, like, yeah, it's like I was saying all the time, like we are doing nothing, like it's nothing, it's the normal thing that everyone should do it in every place, in every country. Whatever he can, just do something, like, yeah.
I think it's a thing of humanity, because if Syria, for example, most of the refugees come from Syria, and if Syria has a great health system and was really well evolved, like they are evolved, and it can happen. So you can see it can happen to all of us. And if it would happen in Germany, I would be happy to have someone who helps me. So, and I think it's a thing of humanity. Yeah.
It's important to be here just to show the people that they are not alone, that they are welcome somehow, to tell them that everything is gonna be alright, to tell them that they are human and we are human and we are supporting them, to tell them that in this side of the wall there is someone that is willing to welcome them.
Because I think the media paints this as sometimes like a Middle East crisis, sometimes a European crisis, but the reality is it's a global crisis. You can be as humanitarian as you want, and it's very obvious to see the humanitarian need for this. But even if you're not a humanitarian, this is like an economic issue, it's a financial issue, it's something that's going to affect all over the world. For me personally, it is a humanitarian thing. I don't think I can, sit back and do nothing while seeing people suffer when they don't need to be suffering. A lot of these people are coming from countries that have been in war for years, 4 years, 5 years, even a decade. And we didn't do anything then because our hands were tied, You can't go into a country and tell them to stop fighting each other or whatever. Civil war is something else. But once they start leaving and they're entering other countries that are not their own, places where we can go and help, why not? We don't have an excuse at that point. And it's just not okay for people to be in conditions where it's just completely inhumane.
Well, I think it's the answer is that I do it for quite egoistic reasons. I feel better about myself when doing it.
It's just normal help, I think so, from human to human being. Only that.
Well, I think it's a situation when a lot of people need serious help, and I think it's my duty to do what I can and just stand by, because I can see that more needs to be done than what the state or the local authority is doing.
It is important to start with yourself when trying to make the world a better place, or not just talk about it, but do something. And I guess if I didn't have kids, I'd be helping in Greece. So now I have an opportunity to work from almost at home. So.
Important is because it's good to help people. You never know when we will need this help, what kind of situation we will be in the future. And of course, why not help if you can't?
Je trouve que le message, la chaîne d'action est absolument fantastique et je pense qu'on est tous motivés par la même envie de faire du bien.
As I said before, I think the work by the volunteer is fantastic, because again they're just called here for a humanitarian help. Nobody receiving nothing, so everyone is coming just to the wish of help. At the same time, I think the most important thing for the volunteer, the wishing to volunteer in future, is to find a balance between what you want to help and what you can help and what you should help, how you should help, because it's important to organize yourself in somehow. You can just come and I don't know, drop things when they are not enough to the people, or I'm really thinking it's important if you are a new volunteer just to get with some people that already volunteered in the past, to try to understand, let's say, the manual or the steps in order to make efficient your help.
Je dirais juste que de cette expérience-là, je retire que même si on a un but commun, même si on a des mêmes envies, il faut qu'on appréhende la situation sous le plan humain et du relationnel humain pour essayer d'avoir un travail effectif, et c'est extrêmement difficile.
Yeah, I think it's good that everyone can help if they like to, but in Germany we have the big problem that no one get paid for the whole refugee work, and I think that's not okay. But yeah.
So without volunteers there wouldn't be help, because the governments are often not doing enough, and the gaps has to be closed with volunteers, and it's really important. I think it's really important to volunteer.
I think we did a good job so far. There were some unorganized volunteers who created some problems, but I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. And the rest, I think we did quite a lot of work and many hours, and we helped a lot of people. We didn't help them, really a lot to individual persons, but overall we did, I think, quite a lot of good things.
I think it's very important, and it's very, very precious. And I also think that the volunteers filling the gap that governments supposed to do, but they didn't.
I think it's very important and very effective, not only for the refugees. It makes a lot of difference for them, but also for the society around us to show a good example what needs to be done, and also for the world to see what the proper response is to such a crisis.
I think we helped our country a lot, so it didn't have to spend so much money on workers, but I don't think it would be as good if it was institutionalized. So if those people who are helping would be, I don't know, if people would have this as their job, I think it would be more like, I don't know, not so personal. I think it's good that people are volunteering because it's more personal for them. They're engaging, I know, by will, not by force. So I think it's good, and I think we presented Slovenia in a good way, although the country didn't do this so much.
Je pense c'est quelque chose qui va me hanter, mais qui va aussi me grandir. C'est très paradoxal, étant donné que tout est binaire. C'est effectivement l'aspect de la difficulté des choses qu'on voit, parce que je peux pas retranscrire les situations que j'ai vécues, et je sais que ça va me revenir, mais il y a aussi cette sorte d'adrénaline et comme je parlais tout à l'heure, cet instinct qui déborde et qui dépasse tout ce qu'on peut imaginer, et je pense qu'il y a un manque, en fait. Je pense qu'il y a une sorte d'accroche sur le fait de sentir qu'on peut aider. Du coup, on a ce sentiment presque d'addiction, vu qu'on voit que ça nous dépasse complètement. On a envie d'être là, on a envie qu'il y ait de l'action. J'ai eu beaucoup de volontaires réagir quand je leur disais de prendre le temps, de faire attention. Ils voulaient être là-bas, et ça dépasse en fait tout ce qui est cohérent. Donc j'appréhende en fait beaucoup mon retour, parce que j'ai pas eu le temps en fait de vraiment réfléchir à ce qui s'est passé, de réaliser tout ce qu'on a fait, et du coup je pense que pour l'instant je réalise pas encore, donc on verra à mon retour.
I kind of have mixed feelings. For the most part, I feel like there was a lot of good done. Like I said, it's crazy to think that it's only been 10 days, and the time in the camp was really only 4 days that it went from disaster to like a smooth process. So that makes me feel really good that that everyone was able to come together, forget their egos, forget everything else, and just understand that we needed to help. And in an organized way, we were able to efficiently do it. On the other hand, I still feel like there are things that are kind of unsolved. Part of it is too many groups trying to do too many things, you know, again, with good intentions, but not really an organized effort. We've had meetings with some of these other organizations, and some are really willing to work something out and to see how they can work with international volunteers, because we're all independent. But then some are just like, no, these are the rules, you have to be with our group or you can't help at all. And to me that's really frustrating, because there are people coming here with the time, and they have supplies, and they have all these things to give, but to be prevented from helping at all just because they're not part of an organization doesn't make sense. I understand that you can't have 20 different people doing 20 different things, but there needs to be a way that we can work something out to where the real goal is met, of helping the refugees coming through.
What's my feeling after the work of the day? I think it'll take some months for me to answer that question. I think, you know, sometimes you're frustrated and you're angry, but most of the time you're exhausted, you're sad, you're trying to negotiate your own personal life in the midst of dealing with these situations. So I think it's a difficult question to answer.
Actually, I want to do something good, so I'm doing that. But I feel sorry actually because there are too many people who are just like seeing these people, the refugees, like really people from another world. And I want just to send a message to those people to say we are all, let me talk about myself because I am refugee. We are all like each other, but we had different situations and we had like different governments, and we have all to feel the same feeling about what's going on. We have to feel like we all like each other. We don't fear each other. We have to help each other because this is how we can do something good. We can just like go out, demonstrate against the governments who are doing the bad things, who are making the bad situations. So this is how we can do it. But
after first day with working with refugees, I was quite moved and shocked, and it was very intense experience because of various reasons. Mostly because the situation was really strange. People were standing on a rain for several hours. We were not allowed to give them help as they were standing there, and there were some sick children and so on, and so that was quite tough for me. And now the situation is much better. Maybe I have toughened in the meantime as well, but also it's much easier for us to give our help, and people are treated much better than they were before. So now the work is much more routine as it was in the beginning.
At the beginning, like I said, it was a shock to me, and I think in the first few days I cried everything out. So now when I went to the train station, for example, now, after that I feel a little bit exhausted, because it's emotional thing. But at the same time, I also feel that those refugees can give us much more that I can give them. So they bring good things to us, and it's very important. And it's if you want to give something, just give. Do not expect anything, But in spite of that, they gave us a lot of things.
Well, it's if it depends on how long the shift is. If the shift is very long, it's a hard job. So one is tired, but I feel good. I feel like I've done something to help the situation.
It's again the roller coaster of emotions. It depends from the reactions of the day, of the shift. Sometimes you come home with a warm feeling when you know that you connected some family that was teared apart during the official classification, and they're split it, and then you reconnect together the family, and then they're of course happy, and you get a part of this feeling, of this warm feeling that you're doing some human work. On the other side, sometimes you're squeezed into some circumstances, some format that you have to work as a machine. For example, when really big amount of people is coming and you have limited resources of the food, of the clothes, and then you have to play a little God and say, yeah, okay, your shoes are good enough. They are wet, but they are not teared apart, so go on. And he tries, of course, to get the new pair of shoes, but you are then, as I said, playing God and said, no, go, and then maybe you give shoes to someone else. And when you're in this, when you have to make a decision, make a choice, it's tough sometimes. And then you come home and you analyze these things. So this is the other part of the emotions, and all between. Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're pissed off, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're happy to meet new people, volunteers, refugees. But of course, when you think, what is their future? Then you don't have the answers, then you have only questions. Who knows what will be to those people, to these people, when they finally reach their destination and they face the reality. I don't know.
I think first it's important to realize that just being like some coordinator and then self-appointed whoever I am is I'm really just an individual that's here to try and stop misinformation, to spread good information, and to help people, help refugees. And I don't feel like I'm in a position of power to change. I think that it's better that the change that occurs would change through helping people get the information they need to be able to help people, not that I'm going to change the structure of the way the government works or the way that the volunteers' motivations are, or et cetera, because I think that's pointless. But I think by giving good information and by increasing cooperation, then the main goals which everyone has are achieved, and then it kind of it dissipates all the other, excuse me, but bullshit. Yeah.
Actually, alone I can't change, but I would love all the people that to change what's going on, just to stand, say something against the government to stop what's going on all around the world. Stop this, because they are changing the history, they are just doing something else in this period. So just want to tell the people just to do something. Just don't be afraid and have this fear of the refugees. No, just go against the people who is doing that for the refugees, for the people. So if it's gonna change, I will really be proud.
In general, I would like to change the vocabulary of our government, because they were all the time talking about safety, while in fact there were never any safety issues, and they didn't speak about humanitarian aspect of the crisis, and that caused some fear and anger and hatred among people towards the refugees.
My best memory is that I could make it to come here. I had the travel documents and those stuff, I got them, and I came here to help the people here. My worst memory is just seeing the people again, the people that really in need, like they need help, and their tears when you give them anything, like bottle of water, and they will be really thankful for that. So it's really bad situation.
Can I say two best memories? Okay, so one memory was that there were all these complaints about people who are against refugees, how they don't clean after themselves and how they are dirty and so on. And immediately after that, or next day, one guy came to me and asked if we can give them bags for garbage. And so I gave it to them, and they went in and they cleaned the center, and then brought the garbage bags to the fence, and I took it then to the container. And second best was when I helped a father finding his wife and kids because they were separated.
I just remember one little child, it's about 1 year old, And when he saw me, he began to smile, to laugh, you know. And I was surprised at first. And but we all laughed in the station, you know, because it was so normal. And I want to feel that those people feel normal, you know, normal like you and me, you know. It's a normal life, so it's supposed to be. And this little kid show me that, you know, show me that. Maybe I forget because I see all the time those thousands and thousands of people in the poor condition. These little kids show us that the life is normal. So I'm very thankful for that, really.
For me, I would say, because the first day was so overwhelming, seeing so many people and seeing volunteers just so distressed and people kind of not knowing what's going on, that sticks in my mind. So specifically seeing like babies in the field without proper jackets, without proper blankets, and then their moms just being so desperate, like, when are we going to leave, where are we going to go, and nobody having any answers. I think the look of a family with a baby thinking like, did I make the wrong decision in coming here, that was probably the hardest. And knowing that they were thinking it and not being able to do anything about it, not being able to give them the answers that should have been so easy, you know. Like, if they had just known, if we could just tell them, you're going to stay here for 12 hours and then you'll move on, even that's an answer. It's not an ideal situation, but at least they know, okay, we'll wait 12 hours. But to tell them there's a bus coming, it might pick you up, it might not, you know. A bus might come, it might not, but nobody seems to know. That was a real issue, and I think something that could have been much more easily solved.
Si j'ai un message, c'est que aujourd'hui dans notre société, on peut tous faire quelque chose. Et j'ai eu l'expérience autant d'une inhumanité qui dépasse tous les mots que je pourrais dire dans cette caméra, parce qu'il n'y a aucune odeur, il n'y a aucun visuel, il n'y a aucune émotion. Là, je parle la tête reposée, j'intellectualise mon expérience, mais d'avoir vécu ça, c'est quelque chose d'extrême. Mais de l'autre côté, j'ai vécu aussi une humanité qui est absolument incroyable, que ce soit par ces volontaires qui sont là, que ce soit par toutes les équipes qui sont sur place et qui vivent ça d'une manière différente, mais qui ressentent de la même manière. S'il y a un message, c'est qu'aujourd'hui on peut faire de belles choses. Autant il y a eu du difficile, autant il y a eu des choses absolument fantastiques, et j'aimerais vraiment me concentrer sur ça. Je pense que c'est aussi pour ça que vous faites ce documentaire. Quand j'ai vu cette chaîne d'action, le nombre de personnes qui sont prêtes à aider, rappelons-nous de ça. Et aujourd'hui on peut faire quelque chose qui sera demain quelque chose dont on va parler. Mobilisez-vous, parlez autour de vous et n'ayez pas peur, ne restez pas derrière vos écrans ou à regarder des images qui vous font mal ou qui vous mettent mal à l'aise. Vous pouvez venir comme moi, ou vous pouvez ne pas venir, mais en parler. Et les choses que j'ai vues sont tellement belles dans la globalité, que ce soit sur le plan humain, de ce qu'on a reçu des réfugiés qui, même après 30 km, nous remerciaient avec les larmes aux yeux, ou que ce soit sur le plan des volontaires. On est tous unis, et je pense que c'est ce que j'ai envie de retirer de tout ça, c'est qu'on peut faire de très belles choses et il ne faut pas avoir peur de les faire.
I think regardless of how you feel about refugees coming into Europe or refugees moving, or how you feel about the war, or what side you stand on, I think it's important to remember that these are human beings. And we're all at some point going to be in a tough situation. Maybe not this extreme, but as global citizens, if we can lend a hand, I think this is something that we should do. I'm not saying we have to do it or anything, but whatever the reason is, or however you feel about a particular issue, that's besides the point. The point is people are coming. The point is people are leaving a place where they feel like they cannot survive. Like they either risk their lives crossing the sea and crossing by land, or they sit in their homes and wait for, you know, a bomb to take them. And life shouldn't be like that. And if it's something that we can assist in any small way, like giving a food package, this is something to, you know, lend a hand to humanity. You're not going to change the world by doing this, but it's one small thing. For individuals in general, like a lot of people talk about how bad the situation is and stuff. Then help, do something about it, you know. If it's for a personal reason, like you just feel frustrated about it, then come and I don't want to say you'll do this because you'll feel so great about yourself, like, but it's okay if you feel good about yourself in the end. Like, that's one positive thing out of this, and you're doing something positive for someone else as well. So whatever you get out of it, like, you don't have to feel selfish or greedy or whatever, but you're doing good, and even if it's self-fulfilling.
What I would like to tell to people that to try to understand why these people are moving, to try and understand which are the reasons. I know that their arrival they might cause some problem, but just remember that we are done all of bone and blood. So we should try to understand that to create an opportunity for a better life for everyone. It's like a utopic, but we can try everyone to do his little. That's my idea. And I have to say, like, after this 10 days of experience of volunteering, it's hard also to stop. So I'm already preparing myself to go to another border and to help more. So if you have a chance, you should definitely try to do it, to help.
Actually, it's two words because it's like a coin. It has two sides, and the one side it's hope, because there's so many people helping, and you see the hope in all of the eyes of the refugees. They are like hoping for a better life, and on the other side it's how do you say this? It's trauer. It's sadness, actually. It's sadness, because you can't do enough. You can never do enough to help. And we're too less people. Yeah.
The best word as a volunteer, I can say humanity.
Friendship.
Pain, maybe this is the first association, huh? Maybe pain, but also dignity.
A word that would describe my sensation, my best feeling, is warmth. This feeling that you have something warm around your heart. This is the best, and it makes you alive. It makes you as a human being. I don't know. It has to do something with the emotions, not with the intellectual part of you. The way of heart is more important than the way of brain. This is what I believe.